This person writes, thoughts on muscular women. Well, if muscular women are your thing, or really some other body type or whatever personality type is your thing, those products right there are going to tell you how to attract them and basically how to pick the ones that you want to avoid and which ones you want to be with and continue dating. So I'll get into this. I'll preface by saying I'm a confident person and asking this more for info than out of panic. Well, okay, so there might be some element to panic with what's going on. Maybe this is a woman writing this post and she spent so much time working on her body thinking that would attract men, and now she's finding out that some men actually don't like masculine, basically, well, bodybuilder type women because sometimes it's conveyed as masculine. Maybe she's going through that. Let's check it out. I've always been a tall woman and slim with curves. However, women writing it. However, I've recently been training much harder because I enjoy it. And I'm noticing my muscles are definitely more visible and maybe a bit bulkier, especially in my calves and shoulders. Well, shoulders in particular are sometimes a more masculine kind of thing. I'm curious about thoughts on this body type, or if I would continue to push harder, especially since I'm tall. I honestly love the feeling of knowing how capable my body is and recently starting being someone really great who doesn't seem to mind. When women like work on themselves, like I've kind of like been with bodybuilder women, and God, I mean their ass is fucking phenomenal. I mean it is. It's like when they fucking work on themselves, it's just like perfectly shaped, firm, perfect firmness, and it's just like gets you going kind of thing. Now, as far as when they're doing all like the fake tanning, the kind of posing stuff, when they have basically sometimes that like big shoulders, or sometimes it's almost like it can be conveyed as masculine. And well, I'll say it as well. It's like sometimes when women are very tall as well, sometimes it is more masculine. And so that's kind of your obstacles you have to overcome with this, and kind of know in yourself and either pick a guy that's totally comfortable with this, or figure what kind of action you want to take moving forward. But I would say for me, it's like, well, the bodybuilder type that are basically like spray tan, way over the top, I would say it's not really very appealing to me. But as far as being in shape, totally. So yeah, you were asking, I'm curious about thoughts on this body type. So I'm more so asking just for general opinions on how much is too much, or if muscular women are usually a turn on or turn off. Depends on the person. Okay. I would say to the extreme, it's a turn off. But some women can pull it off, but it's like you got to have a lot going for you, and your personality has to be really feminine if you're going to get to pull off that body type. But like an in shape, like you can obviously tell like a woman's in shape, just not to the extreme. I think that's sexy, And what you'll also find is like a lot of benefits go with that as well. So it's like she has those habits, those rituals of working out. Oftentimes she's focused on her health, her body. And so it's like when you're with her, it's like she knows how to really sometimes cook really well, or at least is really disciplined or organized in how she basically approaches her diet. Sometimes those types of women are really into like their bodies. And so they're really good at like giving massages. And so that's another benefit. And so it's like, well, there's really benefits and drawbacks to really any body type there is. Um, I'm sure there is, even with people who are attracted to like overweight women. It's like, well, at least they don't have like the obligation to basically be disciplined if that's their approach, or maybe they laugh more, or they don't take things too seriously. Where sometimes it's like bodybuilder type people can be like, this is how it has to be, and kind of get straightforward. Um, but sometimes we go through things too. So it's like maybe we'll spend a couple years being in that bodybuilder shape, and then we'll spend a couple years just being in really good shape, or even sometimes out of shape. It's like we kind of just go in cycles as people. Ideally, it's like, well, ideally you want to be in shape, as far as my perspective. And it's like to do that, really, you just shift your identity, and easier said than done. But it's like when you do shift your identity, it's like it becomes a part of you. It's like that's who I am. And so that's what really when you get that basically consistency on maintaining those workouts. So those are my personal opinions on bodybuilder women. I'll just say stuff like bodybuilder guys too. So I guess I could be considered in some people's eyes kind of like that bodybuilder type. But shit, I mean, I worked hard at it, and it took me, well, at this point, I mean, I went from 180 pounds to 195.7, so almost 16 pounds of basically muscle. I've got that transformation just on my main homepage on my channel. It's just like a small picture on basically the banner on that transformation. But it's like, well, if you're a guy also, and thinking that, hey, if you just get in this bodybuilder shape, then all these women are going to be attracted to you. Not always the case. And oftentimes what you attract is sometimes those other bodybuilder women, or sometimes women that are sometimes more in their masculine energy. It just is what it is, but it's like, just to kind of expect that. And don't think that it's going to get you women just automatically, because it's like women aren't necessarily attracted uh, to looks as our highest priority. It's usually about success, but so that muscles can communicate like a mission, and if that's the way you're communicating, hey, this is basically my mission that I'm pursuing, that can be attractive. Versus, hey, look at me, look how strong I am, kind of showing off kind of thing. That can be perceived as more like approval seeking. And when you're in that realm of approval seeking, it's actually a turnoff. So just be aware of that. But overall, I think being in shape is a really positive thing. Makes you feel better. Makes you feel better about yourself emotionally, uh, physically. So it's like, yeah, I'd say I identify with that kind of lifestyle. Oh.